I hope he lost. I say that in a nice way. You won? Oh. Okay, fine. We'll look at it anyways. I like losses because, you know, there'd be more mistakes. He won. So this is a 1750 game.
Timo.
And it's a Huns war, right? Yeah.
Zachar.
Timo.
What's going on, Florida? Yo, nice scouting, man. This looks like a 1750 game so far. So this guy, oh, well, here's your ratings here, but I gotcha. You guys are probably 7, so 1689, 1694. But yeah, 1750. You guys are using Smurfs, right?
William Bine.
Zachar.
Timo. Zachar.
I wouldn't have this much on. Okay, yeah, please go get a boar. I was gonna say I wouldn't have you don't want that many around one sheep, because like this is great how they're working right now, but now you're gonna have a jam, right? Once you get past maybe 7, you start getting villas at jam. I would have just on your 7th vill got the boar right away, and then add maybe more to sheep, and then have add more to boar.
Timo.
But no biggie, no biggie.
Zachar.
This is nice. They're all working.
William Bine.
And good job for, you know, you had one guy that wasn't working, and then you put him on wood.
Zachar.
That's good.
Zachar.
Timo. William Bine.
Again, maybe this small thing, just timing when you get your second boar, because you still got 100 food left in this. But again, not a huge deal. For me, I like when that happens, I'll bring the boar in, and then I'll garrison the ville and let the boar sit there until I'm done this one. But that's a bit more micro intensive. So if that's something that you can't do, then just timing the boar better is great. But I mean, this isn't a huge deal. It's not going to cost you the game or anything. It'll just maybe give you some extra food in the long term. And usually when you go 2 farms too, I'm glad that you're going 22 pop-up. Because 2 farms, you should, if you're going to go scouts or anything else, I mean, if you're going 2 farms, 22 pop-up is good, not 21. You're rushing it a bit then. Yeah, the lumber is pretty far south. So you're going for a forward. Cool.
Timo.
Do you know, so this is a great, at this moment here, this would be a great time to, rather than having your scout here, I'm sure you probably send it back here in a moment, but if you don't, then I'd recommend you always want your scout kind of near where you're forwarding. Because what if he's, I don't know, what if he's building a barracks right here or something? Like your scout's going to be able to tell you where he is, so that way he won't catch you where your forward's going.
Zachar.
So next time, keep it with your vills right before you come. You'll probably be fine, but yeah. Sometimes it makes them a little suspicious, but I'd still rather have it with the vills. Wait a second. So what I would have done earlier is if you had your scout here earlier, you could see if he's mining gold. So this first tower isn't doing anything, right? So, and his berries are in the back. If I was in your spot, I think I would have had before I built the barrack. So maybe I would have set my villas a little bit earlier. I don't know. I think I would have come more at this angle and maybe try and get the first tower here or something. Just because this one isn't doing anything, you know what I mean? It's not gonna. If he was, I mean, it's taking him off his two. Wait a second. Oh, there's his other goal. I mean, it is taking him off his 2 golds here, but what if this guy becomes a, what if this guy is 1900? He gets his stable up here. He's building scouts, and he's in no immediate danger to force a fight with you. And your map is so open. So if he goes scouts and he's like efficient with it, see, he's up so late. I don't know why he's up so late. What's he doing? But if it's a player that's 1900, like you might be in trouble because he won't need to engage in this at all. So he can stack up scouts and raid you. It's a good tower UOC. Okay. Oh. Oh, look at that. He fell right into it. Well, I mean, does he even have a scout? What's he doing? Where's his scout? I'm curious as to where you put his scout this whole game because he saw this tower hitting this. If I was in his spot, I would have just immediately deleted this and just re-angled it right here. So, I mean, the fact that he's playing like this it's good. It's working out for you. Wow. Okay. All right. Good job. This is more his bad though. Like what he's done here. Could have deleted that earlier when it was at 25% or 30 and then re-angled it maybe to here. Coaching Coven student. But either way, it did turn out to be a decent tower. I just kind of fell into that. But just do keep in mind though, if he wasn't building it here and if he deleted it, or if he went up at a normal time and scouted like, a normal player by this point, I just feel like any other player in this situation may have 3 or 4 scouts by now. And you're very, very open at home, right? Not sure if Ubli's down.
Timo.
Oh, okay, you do have a range. Okay, cool.
Timo.
Oh man, you could have got that. I'm sure you'll go back, right?
Beijing.
At this point in the game. So, you're probably going to go in gold now, but what I would recommend earlier, like in a future game, is maybe 2 less on farms, just so you can get a blacksmith and get your fletching right away. Because I think most players, they're probably going to have 2 ranges. Like, I don't know how good this guy is, but most players would probably add 2 ranges and get quite a crop load of scrims going by now with +1. But this guy's just like staying 1, and he doesn't have a blacksmith either. So for future reference though, if the players start getting better, this army will be overrun like pretty soon, you know what I mean? But in this game, I guess you're okay. Just getting that fletching a little bit earlier. But I mean, I guess you don't need to because he's not getting fletching. You know what I mean? Like, okay, good job.
Bellin.
So yeah, it's kind of unfortunate, you know, where his other gold is. So he kind of got away with that. Really nice eco, by the way. Like, farms are good. It just, oh man, your town is just so vulnerable. Like, I just feel like if you're, you know, once you start playing, you know, in a future game, this might get into a little bit of trouble with someone who's actually going to end up building more military earlier. More like someone's going to build scouts, someone's going to build a bigger skirm army, but yeah, because this is. Whew. I'm gonna be shocked if this guy does not like hit you anywhere here at home this game. You're up so much earlier than him. If he doesn't hit you at home, yeah, this guy's dead. Let's see here. Did you get your gold? This is the perfect time to get your gold mine upgrade. Okay, you don't have it yet, but this is always a great time with the excess food that you have right now. Always make sure you get that. Should be automatic when you're going up the castaways, just like when you get your first lumber upgrade, right when you hit feudal. Who's Xing? What is this guy? Why is he panicking a stable? This is 5 skirms with no fletching, nothing. You could send a Vil against these skirms and you'd be fine. Oof, okay, there he is. And he doesn't have fletching yet either. Jeez. I feel like I should be analyzing Red's game. Yeah, dude.
Hey, man.
Oh no. This guy's so dead, right? Like, especially if he doesn't get fletching. One night will clear this whole thing. It's like you know that. It's like you know, oh, this guy is harmless. He's like a little fly. No fletching. Set a knight down here. I think that's where your first knight should be going. Okay, good job. Make sure, did you get your wood upgrade? So you didn't get your gold, but you did get your wood, right? I can't tell. Is that light green? No, it's not. So I think like a huge takeaway from at least from this is getting your 2 upgrades instantly with the resources that you have. You're gonna notice like it's gonna change your game completely as the game goes on. By just getting those 2 upgrades instantly. Not the second gold upgrade, but the first one. Where's that first knight? Oh no, do you need a knight down here first. Because this is, I don't know what's going on here. Oh, actually this scout could do the job. Oh no, he's got fletching now. What's going on? Clearly these skirms are not very threatening to you. Okay, you got 2 stables now. Stop talking about getting upgrades. Get out of here. Oh, nice. That will clear that. Okay, good job. Good job. I don't know. There's so much going on. There's so much going on in this game. It's it's quite a circus. I feel like I'm in that spot where I was with Arrow the other game in recording, where I don't really know much more to say because pitter patter. Okay, so he's he's not even going up yet. This is pretty much in the clear. The other thing I could recommend too, since you didn't get the gold upgrade, is at least adding it. Okay, good, you're adding another Ville de Gold. So just add some more Villes de Gold. Maybe get another mining camp on this side. Because right now, honestly, what you need is just knights, +2 defense, a monastery, so you can heal them, and just go all in. You got him off both his golds. This guy's pretty much toast.
Timo.
What is this? Oh. Peter Patter. Peanut butter. I just go back with I'd recommend building a monastery at this point, just healing them, just going a full night game, and then building a siege workshop here with mangonels, TCing his, hitting his TC. So a forward siege workshop would be great. You now have the resources for +2 defense. I would get that instantly since you're dealing with all archers and towers this game. And then, like I mentioned, maybe a monastery here, heal up, like gather all your knights here, bring 2 vills forward, monastery next, or whatever, monastery, siege workshop, just get them both up. In fact, I would even just, if you know now that all of his army's at home and he's still in Castlewood, you cleared all of his forward army, this gold's going to be safe. You don't need a TC here for now, but it's fine. It's totally fine. But if I was in your spot, I would just focus on using the wood for healing the knights, getting mangonels, and then just going full in here. Another thing I would do is, since you have 3 scouts, so like I said before, I'd grab my knights or whatever, especially these weak guys, I would have ran them back around here. And then I would grab these 3 scouts and I go, hey, he's got 2 golds here. Where's his 3rd gold? Because he's getting gold from somewhere. He's still building archers. So I grab these guys, I'd, waypoint here, I grab these 2, waypoint here, and figure out where he's getting his 3rd gold, because wherever he's getting that 3rd gold is probably where you're going to send your knights and mangonels just to finish him off. So that should actually be one of your huge priorities right now, is figuring out. Wait, what the? How do I? See, so I guess this works, but I think getting the +2 in this spot would have made it a lot more smooth. But this is a fine exchange, anyways. Thought he was using the market. Okay, well, and I'd still scout for that 3rd gold, man, because like I think it could easily be here. To think that he's just using the market is, I wouldn't, especially if you don't know where his 3rd gold is, unless you thought this was his 3rd gold, then I can understand that. But yeah, because that could be his 3rd gold. Maybe that's why you thought that. Yeah, man, you got to get that +2. You have the extra wood. Good, you're building a market, which is good. But you lost a lot of knights that I just don't feel like you needed to lose. If you had +2, you probably would have just lost 1. And then all your weak ones, you'd run back to your monastery that you'd have on this hill. And then you'd heal up. Because for as long as he isn't in Castle Age, you shouldn't be losing as many knights, especially if you can afford +2. You don't even really need to go ranges. Like, you can just literally win this game with full knights and mangonels right now. That's fine. In fact, this is a great tower to to have all your knights around, because there isn't any other towers shooting at your knights. This is kind of, it's just a little, like, I guess you're getting a couple vills, but you're exchanging with a couple knights that don't really need to die at this point. I can guarantee you would have been able to finish this game much earlier from this point. Because by now you could probably have 20 knights instead of having a couple that have kind of died without having that extra armor. Do you have a gold mine upgrade yet? Okay, you do. Nice. Oof, no. No. But yeah, as I'm saying, man, I can 100% guarantee you that you could have finished, like, by having the +2 and just kind of finding that third gold with your +2 knights, you'd be able to finish this game easily by now with how late that guy went up. Oops. TCing his own gold. Cheeky, I like it.
Zachar.
Yeah, Chief, go for it, man. I mean, sure, he can have his third gold, because by this point he's probably running low on gold and he needs these, so, I mean, at this point it doesn't really matter if you hit his third gold or not. Well, good boom. I kind of want to zoom it just because I feel like there's a lot going on at this point in the game, whereas earlier there's a bunch of things that would already make a huge difference for you. Found the gold. Yeah, you did. It's gone. Oh wait. Oh yeah, there it is. Easy. In the long run, I think CA will be better in the long run, in my opinion. But it's hard to say. I mean, depends on what Civ war you're having. Like Huns versus Huns. I think CA in the long run will be better. But Knights and Mangonels are super strong too if you're like holding a certain position and forcing the CA to stay in one spot. Okay, GG, man. Just to recap, sort of what I thought was super important. Huge. Make sure when you're instantly up. As soon as you click Castle Age, as soon as you spend your 800, 200 resources, 1,000. If you don't need fletching right away or any other important attack upgrade, then get your gold upgrade as soon as you hit 100 food. And then when you hit Castle Age, you're like, the first thing I do whenever I hit Castle Age is literally like HC Control Z to go to my lumber camp and then get my lumber camp upgrade, and then usually Control S to get my next black. So those three things are usually instantaneous, like HC lumber and then blacksmith to get whatever upgrades I need to get quickly. So that way you'll never forget your lumber, like you'll never delay it. This tower, technically, I would say was not a good tower, but because he wasn't scouting well, he didn't see you coming, and he didn't delete his stable, which was in range kind of like your vills and tower, and he just let it, like, I think he was like 30%. He could have deleted it and built it a little bit further back, kind of in a line. So it just kind of like things kind of fell into place to make that tower a good one. But in the future, I don't think it will be. Because what's going to happen is you're going to be up against a player who, let's just say you're up against a 2K player or 1900. Guy, he's getting better, okay? He's going to do a 21 up because most people these days do a 21 up scouts with Huns. His stable's going to get up. He's going to build scouts. And one of the main things that you can do to prevent scouts from running around and hitting your eco, which your eco's totally open. Like I can guarantee you, like someone else would maybe have 4 scouts by 12 minutes, 4 or 13 minutes. And this was so open. In order to prevent someone from doing that right away, is you force a situation somewhere. So like your first tower would be somewhere you'd be moving an army a certain way where he would need to keep his scouts at home. But if you sense that his scouts are gonna head towards you, then you'd have to send pikes home. But that's a whole nother. I mean, you could talk forever on AOE because there's thousands of variations that can happen within like 2 minutes. And then the other thing was always try and find where the last gold is if you know where 2 are. Don't just assume that they're using the market, because if you don't know where their if you find all 3 golds and they're not on any of them, then you can assume they're using a market. But don't assume it if you can't find their 3rd gold, unless you thought that this was his. And then if you're in Castle Age against someone who's in Feudal Age, try and do whatever you can. Pull a Huang and get +2. Yo, Vic. Thank you for gifting Mike Lee, man. Appreciate it. Try and get +2 when you can. I noticed you couldn't get it at first, but there was a point where you had the resources to get it. And at that point, it was like a couple minutes out into Castle Age. Get that. Especially when you're dealing with towers and archers. Because what you're going to do is you're going to raid here. Your knights aren't going to take much damage. And then as soon as you get a weak knight, that's when you grab him and you just pull him back. As soon as they get weak, conserve your knights. Don't lose them as easily as you did. They were still effective, but you could also save them with a monastery. If you're going full knights, always add a monastery at some point. And then a siege workshop a little bit earlier, assisting those 20 knights that you probably could have had at one point. Do your raiding. It's totally fine. Do your raiding. Just with +2, you're going to conserve them more. And then at the end of the day, you're going to have 20 extra knights that are going to go in with 2 mangonels, and you would have never even needed to switch to CA. You would have been able to finish off the game. Okay, hope it helped, buddy. Oh, and also, good job for having 3 TCs, because I've noticed in 1600 games, sometimes they lose micro in mid game, and they have 2 TCs, but they never get the 3rd TC up, which will cost them the game. I've noticed that in some of my previous recordings. That can be the difference between like 1500, 1600 level and 1700 is people forget to get their extra TC up at some point. So they fall behind in a boom, and they have all this excess extra food, which could be spammed on TC Veil booming.